Hi guys, welcome back and happy Mercury Retrograde. I'm Ashley Rose and today we are going to be diving into Mercury Retrograde. And I'm going to pull a couple cards, 3 for each week, and just to figure out, what this retrograde energy has to bring us this season. We have our little Mercury retrograde candle lit back here. So we can, better allocate our awareness and understand what's going on so we don't get caught up in the hustle and bustle of what Mercury retrograde is, where we can, just kind of get distracted or overwhelmed by this energy. In my monthly readings, I was talking about how I really don't feel like this Mercury retrograde is going to be something that, it's heavy, it's going to have its moments, but nothing that's like detrimental and we can't handle. It starts off in Capricorn, so we are going to see our work take some reflection. We're going to have some insight about what we want to do, different ways to rework it, but it quickly goes into Aquarius, and we're going to see that in our ideas, in our expansion of our ideas, and how we can change our perspective to better bring our vision of our future in with clarity, what ways we can, kind of get out of our own way and put our best foot forward for our dreams. So when we come out of Mercury retrograde, we can really get the ball moving on what we want to do in life. That's really what I feel like this retrograde is here to bring and I love that it happens at the beginning of the year, because we're already getting so much at the start of this year. We have Venus in retrograde, so we're seeing our relationships and our money get kind of a rework, how we see our finances, what it means to be successful, kind of redefining that success. With this Mercury retrograde being in Aquarius, Mercury is ruled by Gemini and is the communication planet. It feels, comfortable in Aquarius because it's an air sign along with Gemini. But again, that's our communication, that's our thoughts, that's the way that we perceive situations. So really be conscious of being a conscious observer, or I should say, we're taking time to be aware of being a conscious observer, paying attention to, the messages we're receiving, the thoughts during Mercury retrograde. It is not a time to start new businesses, launch a new website, sign new contracts, make commitments, because we can kind of expect those things to kind of fall through. With Mercury retrograde, there's kind of like a fog around our communication. There's like, if we sign new contracts, there's a clause we didn't know about. If we, sign a lease, something happens with our house, it kind of falls through, things like that, because it has to do with communication, transportation, or scheduling. You can expect, clients have to be on time. You go to the doctor's office and they're running behind, things like that. It also has to do with travel too, so you can expect delays, traffic, things that kind of, the mundane everyday things that kind of like slowly drive you crazy. But I feel with these tarot readings I'm going to do will help us kind of settle our energy, and if we know what's coming up, then we can kind of plan, and that way when things happen, we're like, okay, I know this is happening, I'm good, this is just Mercury retrograde and we can chill. And Mercury retrograde starts January 14th, and ends February 3rd. So like I said, I'm going to pull 3 cards for each week, figure out what we got going on. The first week, it kind of like it starts on a Friday and then it ends on like a Thursday. So I'm going to do the 14th to the 22nd, and then I believe the 14th, no, just kidding. 14th to the 23rd, the 24th to the 30th, and then the 31st to the 3rd. And just kind of, like I said, get a little feel for what this energy is going to bring us. There's a lot happening and a lot changing for us. We have, I talked about again in the monthlies. If you haven't watched those, go check them out. But we have so many things going on that this month we kind of get everything put in our lap of what we need to do, the changes that we need to make, career jumps, things that are just aligned with what we came into this earth to do, but we have them in our lap, so we're kind of like, what is going on? And Mercury retrograde doesn't necessarily make that feel easier at first, but I feel like coming out of it, like the fog will be lifted and we're like, okay, I understand. This is what I can do. Also during this time is a great time to prioritize our self-care. So yoga, meditation, take some baths, some nice bubble baths. Okay. Just taking a step back. We can socialize when it feels good, but really, not getting out and about and like sharing ideas, kind of keeping them in and kind of jotting them down, taking inventory, taking stock, kind of building the plan, but not acting on it yet. We're getting the understanding of what our actions need to be, but we just need to take the time to listen and reflect. I've been saying this feels very much like the Hermit in the tarot, where you go within to connect to your purpose and to see the light that you have to shine. And that's really what we're doing here again in this first week, but also throughout the whole. So keep that in the back of your mind as we're going. And also 9 is the number for spirituality and completion. It helps us kind of complete this cycle, complete this lesson that we've been learning the past couple months, especially from the last retrograde that was in September, October. That was in Libra as well. So we have all this air sign energy going on. So again, that's, our thoughts, our communication, the way we see the world, our perspective, our logic. Those things are getting a kind of like a makeover. That's what I like to say. Alrighty. Okay. So this first week of Mercury retrograde, wow. So we had said the 14th through the 23rd, we have Judgment, the Star, and the Queen of Swords. Okay, so we're going to definitely be feeling this, and it's going to feel, I feel like heavy, a little uncomfortable, and a little sticky because we're being called on something with this Judgment here, right? And it's this like, this is 20, the last card before the World. So this is like you're being called to action. It's the last test before you complete this cycle. I love that this pops up, especially when I was just talking about, the Hermit and the Hermit being 9 in numerology and all that means. But it's being called to answer that purpose, right? So we're getting this insight, we're receiving this information on what it is we're supposed to do. The insight to, the framework in our minds that we need to kind of rework, that framing that we have in our mind, right? The thoughts that maybe be keeping us back, the things that are kind of getting in our way. And like I spoke about a little bit earlier, the things that, we think that are getting in our own way. Where can we get out of our own way and allow our light to just kind of shine? We have these people here, and in the card of Judgment, it's like they're in coffins and they're waiting. They're out at sea and they're waiting for this angel to come down to kind of, bring them over to the other side. Where it's this moment of waiting and this moment of transition, right? I know we can all feel it. I've been talking to a lot of people. It's been interesting to see how many people have gotten out of jobs that aren't working anymore, relationships that aren't aligned, environments that just don't support them. We can see that we're in this transition period. We're kind of waiting for this next call on what to do. And so I believe that we're going to receive that this first week of Mercury retrograde. Again, I don't feel like this is something that we do anything about it right away, because if you feel it and it's special to you and you want it to really go somewhere, don't take action on it until after Mercury retrograde, because there is this divine intervention that's coming in to help us understand, again, like what's right in front of us, what's sitting in our lap, what we have to offer. And what we have to offer is our light. And our light is, I feel like it sounds very hippie, but it's like our, the power inside of us that, gets us up every day, that makes us feel inspired. It's our authenticity. But it's also, with this star here, is a reminder of balance throughout this time. Super important to make sure that you're nourishing your spiritual body as well as the physical, and understanding that you are both. You are both a spiritual being and a physical being, and they both need our attention, right? Again, talking about prioritizing our self-care so that we can communicate our ideas and what we want to create a lot more clearly. We have, this vision of our future is coming in with clarity. And I love that the Queen of Swords popped up in this first week, because it's like, hello, Aquarius, present in our reading, and it's all this is here is pointing us in the direction forward, right? Like you get awakened. I love this like imagery that's being shown here when you look at these 3 cards of like what's to come. And we have the Wheel of Fortune and the 4 of Wands at the bottom. So like everything is happening for a reason. First off, we're going to trust the process of what's going on, because it's heading us in the right direction. The changes that are made the tension that comes up, maybe the conflict that we kind of go throughout this time, it's happening for us. So if people are leaving our lives, let them leave. Maybe they have a journey they need to move on, and our connection together, we got what we came to teach each other, right? But it's like this being called, right? And you're being called to, shine your light, stand in your authenticity, take your power back, and know who you are. And you're like, okay, I see who I am. I'm the star. And you are just like, I feel like fueled with life. And you see this and you're like, okay, I'm going to take my ideas with the Queen of Wands, because she's like, I am smart, I am diligent, I make decisions that are right for me, I honor my boundaries, I respect, myself, and I'm going to use my mind to transform my reality around me. I'm going to listen to my higher self and integrate the ideas that I feel are true to me, that I trust in my intuition, and allow that to move me forward. And I think that is so beautiful for this first week, because look at all this blue. It's clarity. Even this little bird in the back, I feel like that's like a little messenger. Again, just speaking on how we're going to get all these messages, but we're going to write them down. We're going to journal them out. We're going to take stock of them, and we're going to kind of build it and create it with ourselves. We're not sharing things yet. We're not, posting about this new business we want to create online. We're not launching the website. We might be creating it, and we might be playing around with different ideas, being willing to make mistakes and learn throughout this period. But we're not, moving. We're getting ourselves in the position to move forward, but we're not exactly moving forward yet. We're looking forward, but not moving forward. Hello, Miss Heidi. Heidi's present in our reading, and she wants to say, yes, girl. But what do we even have here for the day? For the numbers, we have 20 plus 17, 18, 38. 3 plus 8 is 11. 11, master number of service. Yes, be a service to yourself. Be a service to yourself and listen to what you want to do on the inside. I've talked about this with a couple people too. It feels like recently we're in this state where we're actually finally listening to our inner child a lot more. Like everybody, I feel like collectively is listening to it. And it's like that inner child inside of us is like, I want to be a painter. I want to be a painter. I want to paint. And then like the adult, physical self side of us is like, no, we can't do it. We need to make money. No, we can't do it. We have to pay bills. No, we can't do it. Like, yes, that is my passion, but just not now. And we've been putting it off for so long that we're finally listening to it, because we've been putting us off our happiness as well when we keep pushing that back, and it's not going away. It's just getting louder, right? And I think it's this beautiful moment of kind of surrender, of like, okay, this is my light, this is my purpose, this is my passion, and I'm gonna let that shine for a little bit and see where that takes me. Because again, with this Queen of Wands, we can trust the ideas that we're receiving, right? She's got butterflies on her crown, and that's, again, the symbol for transformation and change. So we're transforming the ways that we see value in ourselves, we see value in our success, and we're allowing our ideas to kind of lead the way. We're allowing this, I want to be a painter, to be like, okay, let's try painting. And it maybe doesn't need to be a full-fledged business right at first, but we're just allowing ourselves to explore the possibility. But I love what the cards are saying here, because again, this Four of Wands, this Wheel of Fortune here, it's like everything's happening for a reason. And we can't see right now because it's behind, like, right, the Four of Wands is behind the wheel, so we can't really see it at first. But this is where we're going. We're going to a time where we can celebrate our success, where we're abundant, where a major wish we have for ourselves in our life is being granted. And that's amazing. Let me just say, look at these people. This is the happiest card in the deck. I love that. That's the first great week. Let's move on to the second week. We have the 24th through the 30th. I mean, it's going to be hard, right? Because there's going to be things that pop up, right? Little tedious things like going to the doctor and, you being there an extra 40 minutes, say your appointment was at 1 and you don't actually get to see the doctor until 2, or there's a traffic jam and you're stuck in traffic for 2 hours on your way to work, right? It's going to be those things. But remembering that it's all bringing the discomfort is happening for a reason. Or, that's the lesson, is how we can control our emotions in those moments where, it feels like the universe is against us, right? Okay, let's go. All right, so for the week of the 24th, I'm getting all my dates mixed up, but the 24th through the 30th, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse, the Hermit, I love that he popped up, and the King of Pentacles. Now we're in the middle of Mercury retrograde, right? This is where we've had multiple days where things are not going as planned. Technology has been messing up. Our emails aren't sending properly. We sent something to our boss and it never got delivered. Files are being deleted. Again, we've been in traffic jams how many times? Our phone stopped working. I'm miscommunicating with my partner, and all of these things kind of come to a head, right? And we're kind of with this Queen of Wands in the beginning. I feel like we begin to kind of lose sight of what's going on, and we're like, oh my God, I don't know. And our minds become very overwhelmed. This week feels overwhelming a little, but still transformative. And I'm going to keep saying that because I feel like it really is a transformative time. If you can, tune into the energy and keep yourself grounded throughout this, but especially with this Queen of Swords being in reverse, it's just like everything's kind of coming to a point. We don't feel as confident in our decisions anymore. We're a little unsure of the ways that we're thinking. Our mind is becoming louder. Maybe we're not sleeping at night because there's all this extra stress from all the things that are going on. We just feel overwhelmed. But I love that the Hermit and the King of Pentacles comes in after, because the Hermit is like, okay, because I feel so overwhelmed, I'm going to take the time that I need to disconnect from everything around me, turn off the computer, put my phone down. I'm going to go within, I'm going to journal, I'm going to meditate. I'm just going to be silent for 5 minutes and allow myself to connect with what I really want to do, right? Because maybe the answers that we received last week were a little overwhelming, and we have to make some major changes in our life that we're just a little not ready for, and that maybe caused us to feel overwhelmed, anxious, nervous, where maybe we don't feel like we can rise to the occasion of what we really want to do. We doubt our ability to do it. But with the Hermit coming, it gives us this opportunity to, again, go within and reflect and find that source that lights you up. Find that thing, again, that gets you out of bed, that gets you excited and motivated to be you, who you are authentically, right? Again, 9 is the number for spirituality and completion. I love that he comes in the middle of Mercury retrograde, in the middle of this reading, because it's that reminder that we are finishing a lesson through these experiences we're going through right now. And it's allowing us to become more wise and more connected with ourselves spiritually, and again, physically, and just understanding who we are. And even, I feel like, I don't know why, but this is weird, but I feel like this King of Pentacles with the Hermit is also kind of like that similar representation of the star, right? It's like nourishing your spirit, right? Giving yourself the time and the self-care that you need, right? Disconnecting from your friends, the outside world, the things that feel like too much. Like I've talked about this a lot too. Like social media just feels draining right now. Like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, like it all just feels like a lot. Everybody's marketing themselves. It doesn't feel fun. It all kind of feels like phony. And if you feel like you have to be somebody on there that you're not, and it's like giving yourself the grace and the time to disconnect. To be like, what do I really want? What do I really want to put out in the world? What do I really want to create? And it's an amazing opportunity to nourish you. And then the King of Pentacles is nourishing the outside. And he is abundance, he is success, he is comfort, he is stability, he is security. And what we go within to find and connect back into is what makes us feel grounded, right? Is what supports us, is what builds this solid foundation where we can sit here with everything in our life and understand that we have a lot going for us, and there's a lot to be grateful for right now. And it's important to stay in that space, even with all the chaos that could be going around us, to see what we have to offer and to hold our power in our hands and know that we are powerful when we stand in our power and when we use our power in a way that's beneficial to us. And he's sitting here in this lavish clothes in his kingdom, and he's got armor on, so we're protected through this, as crazy as it gets. Just like that Wheel of Fortune that popped up on the bottom, as crazy as it gets, remember that you're protected through this time. It's like we have this It's like your spiritual guides have like, our spirit guides have like a little bubble of spiritual protection over us as we're going through these things, because these are all things that we are becoming aware of, right? That we have this around us. That again, like even in the chaos, there is still so much to be grateful for. And this Mercury retrograde is helping us expand our perception of that, or our perspective of what's actually going on, and switch our focus to what's right in front of us, right? These good relationships, this ability to be financially secure, this abundance. We have two bulls up here, symbol for Taurus, and they're about comfort and beauty and the good things in life, right? When it comes to pentacles, and you have comfort, you have beauty, you have good things in your life that are to be appreciated and for you to be proud of. You have come so far in, even like from a year to 6 months to now. There's so many things that have happened, and so many changes that we've made. We've come so far and are doing so many things for our best interest now. Take a step back and celebrate that, please, because sometimes I think we get caught up in the day-to-day thing, and we want to keep pushing for more, striving for more. Social media is always making us, like, make more content, post about your successes, and we're comparing ourselves to so many people around us that it's hard to take a second to stop and celebrate your wins when it feels like everybody else is winning around you too. But sorry, get some water. Apologize. What I think we have a really good opportunity though is in this, everybody's celebrating their wins and feeling like, I'm not doing enough. That is also amazing too, because look at how much we are all doing it independently, individually, and collectively together, right? Like individually, everybody's kind of leveling up. But then when you look about it collectively we are kind of leveling up in our own ways too. And that feels scary and like you're not doing enough, but we all have individual journeys, right? We all came here to do different things. We all have our own soul paths, growth things, lessons that we're here to learn. So you can't compare your individual experiences to somebody else, because what they grew up and went through and what they want to do in life is way different than yours. And I feel like this King of Pentacles energy helps us ground back in to what is really important, what we really came here to do. And just like how the Hermit is shining his light up here, he's like, amazed, right? But then we have the King of Pentacles, and he's sitting and he's comfortable, and he's comfortable with his power, right? With his light that he's shining, and he's holding it as like something he's proud of. And so I love it for this week, because it starts off a little shaky, but we're going to end being so proud of ourselves for the insight and the understanding that we get, and that we put ourselves first to connect and figure out what it is that we want. Maybe you're in a job and you've been doing it forever and it's great, but do you really want to be doing that? Asking ourselves those questions. So at the bottom of here we have the Page of Wands, and there's a new beginning on our horizon, and that is aligned with what we really want to do, and this insight that we have, right? This is like, I feel like the Hermit, it's like they're like back to back. It's like the same person, right? He had to like kind of go within. He's got his cloak on to see his light, hold his, he's like, I think I got it in my hand. I think this is my purpose, right? But we need to figure it out a little better. And then when he comes out, he's like, yes, this is my purpose. Yes, queen, work it. But he's a page. So pages are, younger. They're the messenger boys of the court. But the thing about being young and inexperienced in this is that like you have a willingness to learn and make mistakes. And so we're willing to make mistakes for the betterment of our life, what's going on, our future, with the clarity that we need to move forward. I like that. That's feeling very empowered by this Mercury retrograde. I'm telling you. Okay, let's move into the last couple days, the 31st through the 4th, or through the 3rd. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. Honestly, it's kind of like felt like Mercury retrograde would kind of appear. There's not like we're not having major conflict. There's not a lot of swords popping out. I'm going to watch my words before I pull these cards, because then we have like the Tower coming. But it's not something that's going to be like a big detriment in our life. This is, really putting us exactly where we want to be. Because look at this. We have the Four of Wands, the Hanged Man in reverse, and the Six of Wands. Like, come on. This last week is our new beginning is being presented to us 100%, because we have this opportunity to cross through this doorway into a new way of being, into a new life that is, again, aligned with our purpose, that makes us feel in touch with our creative energy, that allows our authenticity to shine, and to celebrate that, to celebrate this risk that we're willing to take on ourselves because we trust and we know what we can do with it. It is, a time to just have fun and not worry about your success, and just trusting that because you're following this and you're being intentional about what you're doing in your life, that success will follow. We are so used to this like hustle culture, hustle, work. But it's like when you compare, just putting yourself to the grind, which is like, yes, commit to your goals and have self-discipline. But it's like this hustle to grind like 24/7, and then forgetting about the intention that goes behind it. Because when you just do something intentionally that comes from you authentically, you receive so much more success and you're so much more fulfilled by that because like sometimes, we'll say like, say you went to college to be a salesperson, but you really wanted to own an ice cream shop, I don't know, and you did it, but you didn't think that you could do it because, you weren't going to make a lot of money owning the ice cream shop, even though or maybe it's a bakery with ice cream too. And you've always loved being a baker. Sorry. And so you just didn't want to follow that dream. And so you went and you went and did you're a salesman, you make a lot of money, but there's still something on the inside that's just not there. You're just not fulfilled. And so that could be where a lot of us are. And you decide throughout this Mercury retrograde, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna take a chance on myself. I have the money to do it. I'm successful. So why not? Let's do something that really makes me happy and just see what happens. It's kind of something like that. And use your intuition through this. This isn't just like willy-nilly, in the back of your mind, without, what I'm trying to think of a thing for me. What have I always liked to do? I don't know. I did cheerleading growing up, and I'm gonna be an Olympic gymnast, but like that's not real. And I can just be feeding myself and my ego about it and getting myself all worked up. It's like listening to what you really want, not just doing it because it sounds cool. I just feel the need to say that. But 4 is also the number for structure and stability. So with this new beginning that we're walking into, it's going to build structure. It will be something that is a stable thing long-term in our life. Then we have the Hanged Man in reverse, and this is all about changing your perspective, flipping it upside down to, again, like the Hermit had that light, like the Star had a light, the King of Pentacles is holding his power. It's like we are enlightened. We are waking up. Oh my gosh. We are waking up to what we really want to do, and what was kind of like what we were doing before that was getting in the way of us doing what we wanted to do, right? And like there's the Four of Wands. He's like this, his feet or his legs make the number 4, and you're going forward into, again, a new way of being, a new life, but one that is supportive of this like stability that we've been working so hard to build. And we've been working so hard to build stability in areas that just never were going to be stable places for us. But we needed this time, and especially this Mercury retrograde, to kind of flip it around, right? Like the Hanged Man this way is like this moment of surrender and letting go to like what's going on, where he was doing things that, weren't really right before. Maybe he was stealing, maybe he was breaking into homes, whatever, however he needed to be upside down. But he flipped his perspective, and he understood that it's like that was never going to bring him the happiness and the security that he was looking for. And now we're going to go off and do that. And with that perspective, that understanding, this moment of acceptance in knowing that our success is attainable by doing these things, we lead ourselves to success. To the Six of Wands. And this is about victory. This is about triumph. This is about a long journey that we have been on to understand what it is that we want to do, right? Because we're talking about wands. There's so many wands, that have been just popping up in general. So much creative energy for us to be tapped into inspiration. They're also about taking your manifestations and bringing them into this physical reality. And so this new beginning that we embark on, this courage to move forward on something we really know we can do, brings us success. And there's so many messages throughout this whole time about success and trusting that we have success in our life and trusting that what we want to do will make us successful, that I really hope, oh my God. I'm so sorry. I feel like these things always happen. Like I literally am a fine functioning person and then I go to record and stuff happens, but it's like, this is Mercury retrograde, right? I'm having a hard time communicating. Come on. 6 also temporary opportunities. So you're going to have opportunities pop up this last week of Mercury retrograde that are like, oh my God, I can really do this. I really needed this time to reflect and think about the ways I was holding myself back before, because it is so attainable. I can do it. I can go after it. You're riding this horse in and it's on this, he's got like this green over him. And that's like healing, or that's the energy for your heart chakra and the color for healing, right? So we're allowing our hearts to be open and we're listening that. And by that, we allow ourselves to heal from pain from the past, from trauma in the past, from those things that kept popping up again that stopped us from moving forward, or stopped us from thinking that we were enough, or stopped us from thinking that we were capable. We are so capable, and we are proving that to ourselves now. I'm so excited about that. And 6 is also the number for love and balance and peace and harmony. So this is a great week to, get back in touch with, your balance and your self-care too, right? Like this new beginning is helping us, live a life of ease and out of this peace, and out of peace, right? So I'm really excited because that's just going forward. And even down here at the bottom, we have Justice and the 7 of Wands. So more wands. Keep your boundaries. Stay committed to your plan. Trust in what you're doing, because justice is coming to serve everything that it deserves. Let me tell you, do not lose sight and just trust the journey of this Mercury retrograde, because it's really coming to bring us some good things and put us in the right direction. And I'm so excited about that. That's where I'm going to leave it, you guys. I hope you have a good Mercury retrograde and it doesn't do you too wrong. I mean, it shouldn't. But I will see you later in the daily tarot readings.